If you've opened Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, I mean, you're on YouTube right now, or basically existed online lately, you've probably been aggressively targeted by electrolyte ads. Sachets, powders, even like fancy little bottles. Influencers are sipping them like it is a secret to the type of health that only the wealthy can afford. Because at almost 65 Australian dollars a box, some of these brands aren't even cheap. And look, this video might save you some money and also potentially might ruin my chances of ever getting sponsored by one of these brands. But the thing is, most healthy people do not need electrolytes every single day. But companies are quietly hoping that you never figure that out. Electrolytes used to be for athletes, people who are sweating buckets, running marathons, and actually earning them. Now they are being marketed like they're the new green juice, or worse, a soft drink replacement. Like you're supposed to sip on them all day while answering emails instead of, hitting it hard at the local footy field. So in this video, I'm going to break down what electrolytes actually are, when they can help you, when they're doing absolutely nothing for you, and when they might even be working against you. But the thing is that I would rather you actually understand when to use them, because I do keep them in my cupboard. I just don't incorporate them into my daily routine. I keep them for a specific purpose and maybe use them maybe once a week, depending on how I'm feeling. Now, before I get into it, I have had a cold lately that turned into a chest infection, so if I sound a bit funny and look a bit down, that is why I'm still recovering. Okay, so electrolyte companies, they're kind of geniuses. Like, I respect it. I'm from a marketing background. They saw that people are over sugary drinks, they're skeptical of artificial sweeteners, and they're trying to be healthier in general. And they slid right in with these clean looking sachets like, hey, we are the solution to all of your problems. And to be fair, electrolytes do have a real purpose. But what started as something that used to be used in like medical settings and by athletes has now been rebranded into this daily wellness habit. And that is where I start raising an eyebrow. Electrolytes are sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These are minerals in your body that your body already uses to regulate fluid balance, nerve signals, as well as muscle function. And your body is actually very good at managing them. You've got a built in systems constantly working to keep everything in a very tight, very specific balance. If you've eaten too much salt, you will crave water, and vice versa. So, when you're consistently adding extra sodium on top of a system that is already doing its job, and you're not actually losing electrolytes through heavy sweating, illness, or specific dietary needs, you're not optimizing anything. You are just kind of giving your kidneys a bit of overtime. And in most cases, you could actually be pushing your body out of balance rather than into it. The whole marketing angle is to replace what you lose, which sounds great until you think about it. If you're sitting at a desk in air conditioning, sipping water, eating a relatively balanced diet, what exactly are you losing that you're trying to replace? And the honest answer for most people is not much. Now, here's where it gets a bit more nuanced, and this is the part that actually matters if you're going like low carb or following something like my metabolic method. Shout out to the sponsor of this video. The link is in the description below for my coaching. When you significantly reduce carbohydrates, this is going to put the sodium balance in your body a bit out of whack. So that keto flu that people are talking about, most of that isn't really your body begging for carbs. It could be electrolyte loss, primarily sodium, but also potassium and magnesium. Most people are deficient in magnesium in the first place. This is one of the few situations where supplementing electrolytes actually makes sense. On a strict low carb or a ketogenic approach, your body genuinely needs a little bit more sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So, if you're in that adaptation phase and feeling a little bit flat, tired, or a bit off, before you throw in the towel, just try increasing your salt intake with a good quality sea salt. Add something maybe like bone broth, and if needed, that's when you can then go to the electrolyte sachets. It can literally be the difference between pushing through to fat adaptation or quitting because you just feel terrible. So let's talk about the part that the companies who make these products won't ever put on the label. Too much sodium is not exactly neutral for your body. Your body works very hard, like I said earlier, to keep sodium within a tight range. And when you keep topping it up unnecessarily because you've swapped out maybe your Coke Zero for a cute little fruity electrolyte drink, things can start to shift in the wrong direction. blood pressure can creep up, your kidneys have to work a bit harder to filter out the excess, and your body will start holding onto water to dilute it, which ironically can make you feel more bloated. Now, to be clear, potassium and magnesium are generally a bit more forgiving because your body can excrete excess amounts more easily. But sodium is different. The balance your body maintains is it's much more sensitive. So if you're eating relatively healthy, you're moderately active, you're eating real food and not sweating heavily on a regular basis, adding electrolyte drinks every single day is probably doing nothing for you. Key here is every single day. That is how some of these products are being marketed, and that is the purpose of this video. So, when should you actually reach for the electrolytes? Because I always keep them in my cupboard for very specific reasons. I also recommend electrolytes within my metabolic method coaching, and I give instructions on when to use them. So, firstly, is heavy sweating and sport. I personally ride horses, and on a hot summer day in Queensland, it's not cute. It is a full body sweating situation. I'm often covered head to toe in my base layers plus a helmet and a safety vest, exerting a lot of energy, so much energy that sends my blood sugar and blood pressure through the roof. That is when electrolytes make total sense. Same if you're playing a sport or doing some intense training or anything where you're sweating a lot for a sustained period. Next is hot summer days. So I recently used them on a boat day in full Australian summer heat, and let me tell you, the heat down under is no joke. In those conditions, electrolytes can help you stay properly hydrated instead of just chugging water that your body isn't maybe using efficiently. And then there's also illness. When I got back from Canada, amazing trip, 10 out of 10. My body decided to absolutely betray me on the way back home. I had the flu and then I had 12 hours of relentless gastro. I couldn't keep anything down. I was basically dizzy every time I stood up. And for a few days, I was sipping on electrolytes. And that's a real use case when your body has lost a significant amount of fluids and minerals and actually needs them to be replaced. I will do a similar thing because I just had a cold and my diet has not been the best because my food aversion has pretty much put me off all types of meat, which is very frustrating for me. And almost lastly, because I have like one more major point after this is like things like flying and travel. So plane cabins are super low humidity, which means that you're dehydrating without even realizing it. Adding electrolytes to your water on a long flight can be a smart move and could even help with that pesky like lower leg swelling that I seem to get hit with every single time I'm on a plane. Okay, and my final point is something that impacts me, and I know it impacts a lot of women and men, because if this sounds like you, electrolytes go from being like an overly hyped wellness trend to something that can help you function like a normal human. So I have HEDS, which is hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It affects how your body regulates, or affects how my body regulates blood pressure and blood flow, especially when I stand up or I train too hard. So for me, that looks like blacking out when I stand up too fast or losing vision just briefly after heavy sets at the gym. Like I will just get a glaze of a blackout. I'm still conscious, but I just can't see. Really fun to deal with, and getting shaky and lightheaded after things like horse riding, especially in the heat. The best part, I thought that this was totally normal growing up because my mum had it too. Turns out it's not normal, it's just hereditary. So I love that for both of us. This is actually really common with heads, and it is closely linked to something called POTS, which affects a lot of women, many of whom just get told it is anxiety, which is infuriating. What's actually happening is your blood pressure isn't adjusting fast enough when you change position. So blood pools in your lower body instead of getting to your brain quickly, hence the dizziness, the blackouts, and the shaky feeling. And this is where electrolytes can actually matter. So sodium helps your body hold onto fluid, which increases blood volume and improves blood pressure, meaning that your brain actually gets what it needs when you stand up or push too hard. For people with heads or POTS, increasing sodium isn't just, you know, okay to do, it's often recommended. So for me, on riding days or heavy training days or in the heat, electrolytes can really help me. Fewer blackouts, I've noticed, and less shaking, but better recovery. So if you're blacking out, getting random heart racing or feeling off after exercise, that shouldn't be that intense compared to what you've done. Don't ignore it. Please go talk to your doctor. And in the meantime, increasing fluids and sodium might help you feel a bit better day to day. And zooming out, this applies beyond heads and pots. Conditions like kidney disease, heart issues, diabetes, or certain medical conditions can impact electrolyte balance. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less. So, if that is you, skip the influencer advice and go and have a proper conversation with your doctor. And very quickly before wrapping this up, this video is sponsored by me because if you are stuck in that cycle of tracking everything, eating perfectly, and still not losing weight, you don't need more discipline. You just need a better strategy. And that is why I created the metabolic method. It is a step by step system that shows you how to eat and train in a way that actually works for your body, using insulin control so you can lose weight without counting a single calorie, and instructions on when to use supplements just like electrolytes to better your health. Now, to make this clear, this is not like a course, this is nutrition coaching with me and a community. And if you're not quite ready for that and you're still in the learning phase, just start with my free masterclass. I break down the biggest fat loss mistakes women are making right now, the ones that are keeping you stuck no matter how hard you try, and exactly how to fix them. And if this video helped you, you will love this video about the top healthy foods keeping you stuck, because it's often these foods that are staples in most what I eat in a day videos. And I know for a fact that they hold people back in a major way when it comes to fat loss. Okay, that is all for today. I will see you in the next one.